Carlsbad business owners peacefully protest the city's possible crackdown on those not following public health orders. Why the city is proposing stricter enforcement. And millions of voters cast their ballots in the Senate runoff races in Georgia when we could find out the winners. And the debate over who will get vaccinated in the next phase of California's vaccine rollout.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
Cars honking, signs up in protest this afternoon in Carlsbad. Business owners are pushing back against possible fines from the city for those who violate COVID-19 shutdown orders. Good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Hunt. And many businesses are defying orders and staying open just to survive. ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains why the city may crack down on those not following the rules.
The stars aligned to start the business.
Justin Murphy's family opened Gonzo Ramen in the heart of Carlsbad in March.
And then, the day we opened, Governor Newsom did a state of emergency for the COVID-19 crisis.
Since then, restaurants have been limited to takeout only or limited capacity or outdoor only. And now it's back to takeout only with ICU capacity at 0%. But in Carlsbad, a group of businesses is not complying. Instead, the group's organizing what it's calling a peaceful protest and continuing to serve on site. Gonzo took its outdoor tables down after it got a cease and desist letter from the county 2 days ago. Others, however, are even ignoring those.
These are not laws. They're simply the arbitrary orders of a governor and a safety officer, and they have no basis in science.
The city says penalizing businesses who got county cease and desist orders requires district attorney action and jury trials. With no action on that front, the city council is considering instituting administrative fines starting at $100 and growing to as much as $500 for repeat offenders.
The willful violations have steadily increased with a hands-off approach. So this is really anybody who's in violation of the public health order. Individuals, businesses, gatherings, you name it.
On Tuesday, before the council meeting, upwards of 40 business owners and their supporters demonstrated against the plan outside City Hall. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
Meeting. Currently, they are discussing the issue. At 5 p.m., we will speak to a restaurant owner who says even those threats won't stop him from continuing to serve on site. 24 more confirmed cases of the more contagious COVID-19 variant have been identified in San Diego County. There are also 4 probable cases of the variant, and that brings our total now to 32. The new cases were confirmed from specimens collected December 27th through the 31st. No deaths have been tied to the variant, and it first emerged in the UK, but the 24 newly confirmed patients are believed to have no travel history. And you can keep track of the latest developments in the pandemic with our ABC 10 News mobile app. It's free in the App Store as well as Google Play.
The number of COVID cases we're seeing across the country right now is putting a strain on contact tracing efforts. Now that is forcing some health departments to ask people to do their own self-exposure notification.
What health departments are essentially saying is, if you test positive or diagnosed with COVID-19, it's possible that you won't hear from us. We just don't have enough staff to keep up with all the calls that need to be made. So here's what you need to do. We need you to self-isolate. Here are some tips for doing that safely. Think about the people you may have exposed in a certain time period and notify them of their exposure.
Angela Beck is a professor with the University of Michigan School of Public Health, and she says that we've increased the number of contact tracing since the spring, but along with seeing more COVID cases now, those workers who are primarily short-term were already stretched thin and are now helping with vaccine distribution as well. Now, she says asking people to do their own exposure notification isn't the preferred strategy, but it's better than no information at all. Still, there are things that we're missing not having a public health worker involved.
So we miss out on the ability to link community members to needed resources. We miss out on the ability to answer questions about symptom monitoring or quarantine or to calm some fears. And importantly, we miss out on the ability to do complete tracking of virus transmission.
She expects that we're still going to need contact tracers for a while. Now, you can help ease some of the strain they are facing by following all the public health measures, like just wearing a mask. Now, as the COVID vaccine rolls out, so do new scams. Government officials in the United States and Europe say there are emails being sent out promising entry to secret lists for early access to the vaccine. Message boards on the dark web have added COVID-19 vaccines for sale. The FBI and Interpol have also found false cures and vaccines on fake websites. Now, 15 million COVID vaccines have been shipped out in the U.S., but more than 2/3 have gone unused. Governors in New York and Florida now want to penalize hospitals if they don't administer shots quickly. In New York, hospitals must use the vaccines within a week of receiving them. Otherwise, they'll be fined and receive fewer supplies.
The polls just closed a few minutes ago in the two runoff elections that will decide the control of the Senate. Georgia polls have been open for people voting in person, and more than 3 million people cast their ballots ahead of today. Republican incumbents David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler are running against Democrats John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, respectively. If the Democrats win both of those seats, the Senate will be tied 50-50, which would make Vice President Kamala Harris the deciding vote. Georgia voters know the political world is watching them.
It's pretty empowering knowing that, having a vote can really shape the rest of the year.
We're here to make a difference.
Georgia's Secretary of State says the winners may not be known tonight. You can watch special coverage of the Georgia runoffs tonight at 7:30 right here on ABC 10.
The news feed starts with a new lockdown in the UK. This is the third British lockdown of the pandemic. The government is calling for a last national effort to help stop the spread of COVID as the vaccine makes its way into the population. Now, drug prices are rising in the United States. Research firm 46 Brooklyn says drug makers are raising prices on more than 500 drugs to start the new year. Prices are rising as doctors' visits have declined during the pandemic. Now, as the Trump administration prepares to leave office, the EPA is rolling back on just how much it relies on public health studies. Opponents say that those studies are important, though, because they help establish some of the nation's most important clean air protections.